front balance point, back balance point. Now with bike heads, that's pretty much your options. There's a third, this idea of uprooting. And when we were doing our Koshi shapes, we were talking about this whole idea of putting ourselves in a position where we can use our mechanical structure to uproot. So if I'm here, she's just going to load on top of me, and it's just going to be strength. If I can put myself into a position where I'm underneath her base, then it's comparatively simple, because she's already rolling across me. Okay? I'm moving underneath where her structure is, rather than trying to make her do something. Right? So the same kind of concept. If we look at this, lots of Aikido is practiced from wrist grips. Lots of reasons for it. It's a nice way of looking at your first point of contact. If we went straight in and I just punch, and my first point of contact is that's fine. And there's lots we can do with that. But from here, it gives you a chance to look at something from a mechanical state. If you've got a strike coming in, then there's a certain amount of movement that I can do something with. That punch, the necessity of a punch is that it's a energy travelling in one direction, which means I've got something that I can continue on after battle's there. Okay? From here, you've just got structure. It's a much more open way of me looking at stuff. So the very first thing that happens often when we're in a situation like this is that I try and move my path. So so if this is one of you big lumps, I would have absolutely no hope whatsoever. The point that I'm interacting with my partner at the moment is where we're actually touching. That's the actual contact point. That's the point I can either turn into conflict if I fight against it, or that's the point that I can use and manipulate and change the shape of to give me a chance to use the mechanical shapes and the mechanical positioning of her frame. With me so far? So, just something simple. Hold on nice and tight, okay? So, fine. That there, I can feel that connecting into her back heel. Okay? That's where that brace is. If I went that way, you can feel it collapsing. This here is going through her shoulder, through her back hip, into her back heel. That is me creating conflict, creating force on force, okay? Most of our techniques will go off the line and we'll try and find a way that involves the front or the back balance point, okay? Let's look at what I've got here though, without doing anything else. If I change this, I'm already starting to affect what's going on. So, okay. Let me just change it to, can I borrow you there? The only reason I'm not to use Kelly is that you've just put some hand cream on or something, haven't you?
Yeah, sorry.
She's slippery. And I need someone who's got a solid grip. So no, it's okay. Otherwise I'm just going to be spinning around in your grip. You're going to get attacked by an octopus if not. So, here, now look. So this is the contact point. Also it's a bit bigger, so it gives me something I can work with. This here. If I go against the structure, I'm in all sorts of trouble. If I can use this shape here to start shaping what's going on, now you've got two things you've got to consider. Number one, pretty much all of us, our bones can move within, hold on tight, our bones can move within the flesh. So you've actually got between a quarter and a half a turn, no matter how hard someone's holding on, you've got that within your own structure. That's useful in itself. The other thing to think is if you're turning through Sensei Ben was talking about the elbow. If you're turning through from your own structure, so you're not just doing this, it's coming through from my entire body, I can affect my partner. Now hold on really tight, because you're stronger and heavier than me. There you go, now the blood's going from the hand. So I'm still keeping my hand active, because if I do that, he's cut it off there, that's dead. The key guys would say he's cut the key off, but it's basically just that blood going to the hand, There's my shape, And I'm exaggerating this, but you just need to have life going through it. Now I've got to try and get the back of my structure, that's where the root of this is. Hold on to that. That alone is popping his shoulder slightly. So just to hold on. Now I'm going to try, so the same way as we were doing with the Koshinagi, I'm going to try and uproot it. Right? Hold on nice and tight. Oh, okay.
It's got a wrist cream on.
Thwarted by hand cream. So feel the shape. And I'm not doing this with my arm. This is just a curve within the structure of my hand here. And what it's doing is going to allow me to drop my elbow and my hip underneath. Okay? Hold tight. I'm trying not to use any strength at all, just the bare minimum in my arm, a bit like a bendable arm, kind of feeling extension through here, but I'm getting underneath and moving through it. And it's in line with my centre. So just try it for now. Grab a partner, hold on nice and tight, so he's got his little finger and index finger making most of the grip here, lots of connection there, and he's basically trying to keep that in that spot. I let it collapse, no good. Lose my arm, no good. I make shape and come up. And you can feel where that point is. It's exactly the same as making a koshi. Exactly the same idea. You're uprooting. Once the heel comes up off the ground, you're taking the connection away from the floor. There we go. Nice and easy. So we'll look at the other side of this now. So basically just be making a connection to uproot the centre. Okay. Now we look at this from the point of view of, okay, what if I don't want to engage with this? What if for some reason I just want to break? Okay. So think of the shape of your hand. Think of what you've got to work with. So there's the top connection of there, base of his finger. There's the bottom of it. There's the top. There's the bottom. So it's like a square. If I'm working across the corners of that, I've got half a chance. Now there is obviously the weak point of the grip. Liam's got nice big hands, so his almost overlap. If you've got bigger wrists, the gap's going to be more obvious. But that's what we're trying to turn out to. And a little trick you want to try is, rather than just trying to attack that, even if you're powerful, line your centre up with where you're attacking from. So rather than trying to, I can probably still get out like this, but if I can line my centre up to where I'm attacking from, I'm releasing the need to do stuff with my arm. I can use my body to create the shape. All right. So there's all sorts of shapes I can get out. I can get out of here. There's all sorts of ways of getting out. Try and move your body behind it. So just get your partner to just get hold of it. Good contact. No gaps here. Good contact. Put your centre at this. That's it. And line you like that. Now the whole thing's engaged. That's a different kind of fish. Properly reinforced. Now I've got to find a way of breaking out. Have a go. Just try and grab someone. Find a way where you can come out of that grip. Hold on properly with some intention. Have a go. This little mini world we're dealing with here, this little universe. You know there's an opportunity here for your escape point. We know by dropping our elbow and engaging our body behind it, we can generate our entire force and use the structure. So let's look at the different opportunities within the hand now. If I'm going to try and take my partner's balance with this, if I do that, it's a good chance it's going to break out. Right? Make sense from what we've just been working with? If I pull, he's got the best possible grip he can, because the edge of my thumb acts as an anchor, and the strong part of his grip is his thumb. So that's obviously the worst thing I could possibly do. So for something like Tenshinagi, where I'm going down to here, let's just go around from this. If I go out, just pushing against the back of his hand, like this, eventually I'm going to be stretching his fingers until they come undone. If I want to engage his grip, so I can encourage him down to the floor, by turning my hand out using the Tegatana like I'm polishing the floor, this bites into his fingers and actually gives him something to hook onto. It's like a climber hooking his fingers on. Okay? He's much less likely to let go the ego of having your fingers on is much less likely to let go. Does that make sense? Yeah? So I can make a shape. So just try for here, don't throw each other around. Just try going straight through with your thumb up and just feel what's happening to that. Is it slipping round? Is it going to grab? You can feel the pressure on the top of the thumb. Try going through the back of your back here. See how this weakens that because you're losing your direction. And then open your hand flat like this and bite into all of here with the edge of your hand. This is where the strength of his grip is in his mind. He's still got half a chance. And then it's the body movement that gives it some structure. I'm not just doing this. I mean, his arms are twice as long as I am. This is not good. You shorter people, make 2 steps. Makes no difference. 1, 1, 2. It makes no difference. And stay. Stay low. Just go through to the balance point. Just see if you can feel. It's a bit subtle, but just see if you can feel where, there's that exchange. Even the different parts of the hand. The different parts of the hand. If I go out to the side here, and he's still dropping slightly forwards, this knuckle here will be still engaged. I can feel whether I've got tension on. If I've gone past the halfway mark, there it is, past his shoulder, and the heel of his hand, his little finger will be engaged. So there's all these little bits of feedback. Have a go, have a go. I was being a bit vague. Just look at tension particularly. Driving through, all I'm trying to affect is the back. Tension is the back half. We're going to the back balance point. So I'm driving that Tegatana through that way, away into the balance point. So his little finger and the back of his shoulder is getting. That's all very well, that's great. But if I go down and I drop that in, it's this hip that drives the back of his little finger through. There's the shape. Right? So, direct, and there's the rotation. The Tegatana takes that through, and the back hip fills the space. Here. Okay? Makes sense? You're going through, and the Tegatana's going that way. The thumb's driving through, that's collapsing the back of his hand, that drops the back of his shoulder, and this is where the power's coming from. Don't lean, back hips coming through. Have a go. To give us some kind of mechanical advantage. Okay, so I'm normal height, okay? Occasionally you come across these weird freaks of nature. So if I'm trying to bring him into a shape that I can use, okay? I don't want to, if he's got me here, that's fine. I can move in and I can use my body shape and my Tegatana. If you look at the top of the thumb and the finger, if I'm going towards him, that's strong. If I pull away from him, that's strong. If I bring this through under my centre by moving in, I'm either going to escape or if he holds on tightly, hold it. That's better. Comes down. If I go straight in, I've got no hope. That's powerful. Right over that toe, into that hip. Inside of the big toe, that's where that balance point is. But I don't want to take the balance entirely. I'm just drifting my hip behind it and then for shape. Okay? So things like Ripo, we want to call it Kukyo, there's all sorts of different names for it. This basic shape here, though, where I'm coming in up the outside, I want to come over the top. And someone's a head taller than you. But someone's a head taller than you. Yeah, I could just jump on a handy box and do it. But this makes. It's a clash. I can feel the clash. I want to go past it. There's my shape. And then I've got all sorts of things I can do from the fact mechanically, I fit into this. So, look at the shape, There's the thumb. His thumb is going to come into my centre. There's the gap, moving in. There's the shape. That opens up, that's fine, I'll use that. Stays engaged. I can make whatever I want to do. And there's all sorts you can do from there. But just look at this. As a partner, we're being cooperative at the moment. Keep that engaged. Just feel the shape. If I go there, I'm not going to have it. It's got to be a, there it is. His elbow is going to pop in front of his body. Recognise it? Elbow in front of the body. Tana Henko, nothing much different. Have a go. Hey. Let's see what I can do with this. Okay, let's do it from here. Just so we can see. Rotate that a little bit. Hold on really tightly. Yeah, there we go. Now, if I try and muscle that through, I haven't got over it yet. If I move my body around, can't really stop me doing that. Can't stop me doing that. In fact, he doesn't want to stop me doing that because that's his strong point. That's fine. I can get over to this space. Now I can rotate this, not by turning my hand, but by turning my hip. So I've not actually done anything to him because he's bigger and stronger. So follow us up there, use it here, return. I'm going to use my hip to open that up. That's helped me, thank you. Rotate, like the Tegatana. Now, still there's my contact. All I'm doing is there and there. Alright, so we're effectively using our body structure a bit of Tegatana, connection of that. It's my technique, pretty much. Okay? I could do, I could do that and break out like we were doing earlier and make a technique. All I'm doing this time, I'm moving my body in. If I go right over that toe, I haven't got a hook. So I'm going to go slightly in and slightly outside of that toe. There's my shape. Just the outside there. Up. Okay? Connection from Tegatana. And there's lots of these that we can use. Sometimes it won't be pretty like this. Sometimes I would have the option of making that the igua or that, whatever way. Sometimes there's going to be issues, so I just have to use, thank you, proper resistance. Have a play, alright? We'll do half a dozen, keep changing partners, we've got lots of different body shapes. So we've got this again, okay? Got this shape again. And this, we're really dumbing this down, but I just want you to pay attention to what's available within this little structure here, Remember what I was talking about the other night? We were talking about Sankyo, and I was saying if you look at the palm of his hand, because the fingers are okay in Sankyo. If you want to be super mean, you can do all this kind of stuff. But the basic mechanical structure of Sankyo, you're dealing with the square shape of here, and you're dealing with the opposites. So you've got the base of the thumb and the base of the little finger. So the base of my thumb goes on there, the base of my little finger goes on his little finger. Now unless you've got someone with massive hands or you've got little tiny hands, that's pretty much your average shape, okay? And it's that against that. That's the shape of, that's what we're looking at. And I've got to then engage it to the hips so that the structure is happening. It's not about this, it's not about me doing this. I'm going to hope it gets moving in. It's about me feeling that and knowing that that's going to affect this here, affect the front, it's the wacky, it's the front of the armpit. That's what I'm trying to move. That's what's connected to his centre. In the same way as I'm doing Shivonagi, there's the diagonal again. It's affecting the back of the armpit. There's that wacky shape. We were talking about this the other day, weren't we? I'm here, I'm blocking my own technique. I've got to put myself in a position. There's that diagonal. There's the hips making it move. There's my technique. You see? Exactly the same. It's the same feeling. So we'll have a look at this one. This is fun. Cutting into the fingers again because I don't want him to break out. No, I'm not doing this. Cutting the fingers, I don't want him to break out. I'm going to go through. I mean, you can go out here. Turn sideways for me. You can go out here if you want. Up to you. We're going to make a little fill-in, just token, so we're not leaving ourselves empty. I'm going to take this. It's coming out through the side of his foot. I'm going to take this here. And then this Tegatana is using the fingers, and I'm going to cut it through. I'm going to try and pop the back of his shoulder back. And there's my Sankyo shape. using the grip. Now obviously if he lets go, that's fine. We can do something else. You know? Nice and easy, don't kill each other. So out to the side, bite into the fingers, there, taking it, hip through inside, bring this round, and I'm going to cut into the fingers, encourage the fact that he's got that grip. This is just keeping the two together. Elbows in, hip. So what's actually happening mechanically in this little universe we've got here is that I'm hitting the outside of his Tegatana to mine. The two things are matching, but it's my back hip that's the generation. That's causing the space for him to move into. Don't try and do it with your upper body. If you like, there's a bit of a lag. There's a bit of a lag. As I create the space here, there it is, there it connects. So as you go, lag, there. So, got the idea? Got the idea? Yep. So out, bang, close, extension, there's the shape.